because like everybody loves Raymond. His name was Raymond, but it wasn't Raymond Romano. It was Raymond something else.
Right. What
So
about George Lopez? The George
yeah.
Lopez show, is that it?
The only other shows I found that utilize that
What's the
format.
George Lopez show named?
Yeah, I don't know what. Let's see, I didn't. I don't know. I don't
It's,
think that.
it's called the George Lopez show.
Right, right.
No, wait. It's just called George Lopez. The show's
Uh,
just called George Lopez.
that's right. Yes, yes. Or
How?
like
Are you
Martin,
recording this,
the
Parker?
Orange show.
Yes, I'm recording.
You better be recording this.
Can you
This
backup
is-
record
this
for me,
is-
and then send me
What?
the audio file? Can you?
You want me to record the whole thing?
Yeah, record the audio and then send it to me. As a backup in case mine is trash.
Okay, let me pull up OBS.
OBS.
But the few other shows I found that where the main character was the actor themselves playing themselves, or like a fictional version, was the Jeff Foxworthy show.
Oh yeah.
And then the Roy Rogers show, but that's going way back to the 50s. So,
Test.
the Roy Rogers
Okay,
show, so that's way back to the 50s. So,
test
but,
is. Will someone say something?
Check it. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Test.
In the place to be. Hello.
In the place to be.
Solemn silence on
Say in the place to be.
In the place to be. Sibilance. Okay. Also, is it okay if I stream this on my YouTube channel right now as like a bonus?
That's fine. Go ahead.
Lay it on me, soul sister.
Austin says I'm hard left. I don't know how to fix that in OBS. Austin is joining the stream. Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, Austin Amberg or whoever that guy is.
Austin.
Drake, how do you know who Austin Amberg is?
Because he comments on your Letterboxd reviews sometimes.
Oh.
And it seems like he and Brian, you two are mutual friends on there. I'm like, who's this Austin guy?
Yeah, Austin's one of my California friends. He is.
Yeah, very good.
Check. Yeah. Austin says question mark, multiple question marks, and then excuse me in all caps.
He's joining what stream is he joining?
My youtube.com stream.
Are you sure that's Austin and not Link from the 80s in the animated series?
Yeah, I know what you're referencing. I don't like it.
No, yeah, so good. Speaking of which, they did announce today they are making a live-action Zelda movie.
Do we need
Yeah.
How's that, Austin? Is that better? Is that... I don't know if that helps at all.
Going back to Letterboxd, did you see my message on the boys chat?
There's 2 of me. Okay, no, that's not it.
2 of you? That's too many. No.
If I click mono, does that help? Mono.
Why would that help?
Because then it would be both, if it's mono instead of stereo. Because right now it's like stereo, so it's only going to the left or something.
Yep.
Is that good? Okay, thank you for helping me figure that out, Austin. I really appreciate that. Okay, let's get a wink emoji in the chat. Yeah.
I'm not gonna read the stream.
I can read the stream. If you want. I mean, this is your podcast after all, Colin.
It is my podcast.
I'm the one editing it, but you every time we say we do this, you're like, "Welcome to my podcast."
I don't remember any of the recurring bits. I don't remember any of the format. I don't remember what the podcast is called. I don't remember what my name is on the podcast. I don't remember anything.
The last episode we did was just kind of a jumbled mess of, we didn't really get anywhere.
Weren't we doing like the history of physical media?
Well, yeah, like the first 3 episodes were, but then like the 4th one was supposed to be like leaning into The Simpsons, but we just kind of got sidetracked and never really got anywhere with that. So
I think that was a bit like I wanted to talk about The Simpsons, and then Colin kept making us talk about other things.
Mm-hmm.
But Drake, do you have a an agenda for this episode? Like, do you have like
Actually, yeah, I do
list
have
of
a
bullet points?
topic.
Drake,
That,
you actually have stuff planned for this?
yeah, that not is something that we can actually converse about. It's not going to be necessarily one-sided like it has been before, where I'm just rambling on about stuff that I know.
I missed that, though. That was good.
I actually have some ideas on opinions we can have and discussions we can have.
Okay, so I guess I'll start. Welcome to what episode is this?
I think it's 5.
5?
Let me double check.
All right, how about this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you can just edit whatever it is. Welcome to episode of the Collector's Edition podcast. I'm your host and the creator / webmaster of this show. I think I just go by Colin here. It's been a long time, but this is an emergency broadcast because of everything that's happening in Israel, Palestine. We thought this is the least we could do. This is what we could. This is how we could contribute. It was Parker's idea. Yes.
Technically Drake's idea, and then I asked Colin.
We got a great show planned for you guys. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Well, usually when we introduce ourselves, you start by saying a fun fact, whether it's about like my favorite DVD was or my favorite
okay,
episode.
yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Fun fact. Fun fact. The last VHS that I watched was, I think, Goldie 3. I think it was Goldie 3.
The bear.
Yeah, about. Hold on, let me see what it's called. It's on my disc somewhere.
That cover is.
Oh yeah. Here it is. Goldie 3: The Magic of the Golden Bear.
That's it. Yeah.
Wow.
It was not a good movie.
I've always wanted to check that out because the little girl in that movie, she was actually she's a notable what's the word? Not ventriloquist, a contortionist. And
really?
So,
I really hated her, and she kept showing her feet. And half the movie was about how filthy she was and how filthy her feet were, and I hated it.
Children tend to be pretty filthy. No, if you ever watched the Series of Unfortunate Events Netflix show, there's the one part where there's Living with Carnival Freaks. He's the contortionist. That's the same actress.
No way.
Uh-huh.
From rags to riches.
Well,
sorry.
Go for it.
Hello. Hello. My name is Parker Kelly. I'm the co-host of this podcast. And the last VHS that I watched, I don't know. I'm trying to think. It's either one of a handful of Disney movies that my family had on VHS. In high school.
Maybe it was a family recording. Was it like a family video?
It might have been a family video. Another 2 VHSs that come to mind might have been either the VHS that we would get from the library. There's a recording of a stage play called The Regard of Flight, starring Bill Irwin, who is a very talented, underappreciated actor.
He's the dad from the Grinch movie.
From the Fridge movie?
He plays
the Grinch.
He plays Lars in Interstellar, if that's his name, the robot.
Hold on, Bill Everett?
Bill.
No, I was supposed to
Irwin.
say Bill Irwin, the dad from the How the Grinch Stole Christmas movie.
Bill Irwin.
And then another VHS that
I don't know
really
this
liked.
guy.
There's another VHS I really liked from the library called Gizmo! From 1970, I think.
I think I know Gizmo.
And
isn't it a documentary about like weird contraptions?
It's a very fascinating documentary about like inventors pre-Wright
Yeah.
Brothers. It's like all this file footage.
I have that downloaded, I think, on my hard drive.
It's really good. I highly suggest watching it. Strongly recommend. It's because it's like a documentary, but it's very like tongue in cheek and strange, and like if you pay attention to like the narrator, some of the words he says aren't actual words, but it sounds like real words because he's really good at double talk. Whereas like if you're not
like
really
the
paying
Grease
attention,
Man.
I guess I don't know, probably something like that.
And
yes, Drake, introduce yourself, please.
yes, I am Drake. Let's see, and I'll just go with the mononym of Drake, like the singer. And actually, following in your The Gizmo, fun fact: the first movie I've ever watched on Betamax had a starring character named Gizmo, i.e., Gremlins. That was the first movie I watched on Betamax. Watched it Christmas Day when I got my first Betamax player. However, the most recent movie to watch on VHS was 2 days ago. I watched two movies. I watched a movie from Feature Films for Families titled The Ghosts of Dickens Past or something. It's the story of Charles Dickens and how he was inspired to write A Christmas Carol, where he was visited by a ghost to see the past, present, future, and everything like that. Clearly, fact, the real story.
Love that on Letterboxd?
Yes.
Ghost of Dickens Past. Okay, let's see. Drake gave it 4 stars. 4 stars, really.
Uh-huh.
Ghost of Dickens Past.
It was actually kind of amusing is that the guy who played Charles Dickens in the movie, I know him from an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark that traumatized me as a child. There's an episode where
what touched you as a child?
An episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Traumatized.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was an episode where kids are trapped in a movie theater and they're playing the movie Nosferatu, and Nosferatu comes out of the screen and stalks the children in this movie theater. He played Nosferatu. The same actor who played Charles Dickens played Nosferatu, and that episode freaked me out when I was a child because there was gore.
That's interesting, Drake. That the character who played Charles Dickens was in a movie about a haunted movie theater.
Yeah.
Because the girl, Jennifer Bertram, who played Muffin in that movie, she was in another movie about a haunted movie theater called Phantom of the Megaplex.
Classic.
So we have 2 actors starring in the same movie who both went on to star in or had priorly starred in media about haunted.
We have some activity. We have some activity in the chat if you'd like me to read it.
Lay it on.
Austin Amberg, our top listener, says, I brought that episode to my first grade class and they stopped it midway through. Hope somebody looks at this. And then we have
it's a cry from help. It's a cry for help if I've ever heard one. And then on a less
scarier basis, shortly after I watched the Dickens, I did watch Alvin the Chipmunks, A Christmas Carol. So my youngest brother, he's doing a thing where he's marathon watching every adaptation of A Christmas Carol.
Which brother's doing that?
The youngest one, the one that Parker that you met.
Oh yeah,
is he on Letterboxd?
Yeah. So, but not.
Wait, is he on Letterboxd? Yes or no? Is he on Letterboxd?
Yes, he is. Yeah, he's the one you follow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
let me see if he's logged it. He has. Drake, you liked it a lot more than he did. You gave it 4.5 stars. Alvin and the Chipmunks, Alvin's Christmas Carol. You gave it 4.5 stars, and your brother gave it 2.5 stars.
Well, that's because this is the 75th adaptation of Christmas Carol he's seen within the last 2 months, and so this is the first Alvin and Chipmunks he's ever seen.
So you're saying that A Christmas Carol, it's worse every time you see it, but Alvin and the Chipmunks gets better every time you see it. So he's kind of at the worst spot for both of them, where he's seen so much A Christmas Carol, he's sick of it, but he hasn't seen enough Chipmunks where he's not in love with those friendly little apes yet.
This is true. It's a prejudice thing. I mean, he's a borderline Gen Zer, and I'm a Gen Yer, so I'm just like, yeah, buddy. Alvin the Chipmunks all the way.
He gave Moulin Rouge 3 stars. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know where he got around watching that. I'm like, I didn't know you watched that kind of stuff.
Actually, I'm going to change my review of Moulin Rouge right now to a 5-star. I love that movie.
Well, it's amusing with this Alvin the Chipmunks is that, you know, there are versions of Christmas Carol he cannot access because it's not streaming or uploaded anywhere, and he doesn't do like things like Pirate Bay. So I actually ordered a VHS copy of Alvin Chipmunk's Christmas Carol because it's only available on VHS, and I loaned it to him along with a TV with a built-in VCR. So he watched it on there and then posted on TikTok of him like finagling with the thing, and people are making comments like, "Oh my gosh, you know, VHS and all that." So yeah, it was amazing.
Austin Amberg is asking, "What's Pirate Bay?" Are we allowed to answer that, or
I don't know where you can upload this.
That promotes illegal activity, so I don't want to be fined by the FCC.
All right.
Oh yeah, we don't want to get arrested.
Mm-hmm. While on air, that's just so awkward.
Yeah, it's a place where you can download illegal pornography.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like South Park joining the Panderverse. You gave 3 stars.
Yes.
And your brother gave it 4 stars. What's the differ in opinions here?
For him, he's more politically leaning. Like, he's the one who will indulge in, like, yeah, how dare they?
He's more politically leaning, just in general, like he's more into politics than you.
I mean, like he'll never watch the Little Mermaid remake simply because they made the lead black. Like, he's more up in that sort of thing.
Wait, really? Your youngest brother's like that?
Yeah, he's kind of
politically lean. I think we have another word for that.
Well, no, I mean, he's a Daily Wire acolyte. Let's just put it that way.
Interesting. I wouldn't have pegged him for someone who, you know,
is politically leaning.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from, but you know, what's funny is that my dad has actually listened to this podcast, so this will be amusing if he encounters this. But that's why I'm not.
As if I keep.
Why isn't your dad on Letterboxd yet? Why isn't your dad on Letterboxd?
Because he's too busy doing dad stuff. Like, I mean, just today, the reason why I might sound tired beyond belief is because we chainsawed a tree today. So that was
Austin is asking, which direction does he lean though, up or down?
Well, considering he follows Daily Wire, I presume that's like conservatism or whatever.
Daily Wire, is that like wire transfers?
Yeah. Telegrams and all that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like Wall Street Bets, but for wiring money.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Yeah, he's definitely a fan.
So Drake, you said you had some stuff.
Yeah.
Your brother watched 4 movies yesterday, by the way.
Wow,
you said that you had some stuff that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, give us the table of contents for today. What are we?
Okay, well,
what are we expecting?
Sort of a modern news, because I don't know when we'll be able to get to that again. So I'm just like, and you know, the news pertaining to this will change. But as it has been recently announced, next year Best Buy will discontinue releasing movies on physical format. They'll cease releasing movies at their stores.
Really?
Yes, and you know, based on
Best Buy.
Yeah, Best Buy. Best Buy is going to discontinue. Now you can order stuff online through Amazon. So, like, for example, their Steelbook exclusives.
Oh yeah.
You'll be able to get those through Amazon, but not in the actual stores themselves. And then,
so is this just DVDs, or does it include Blu-rays?
Blu-rays, DVDs, the whole kit and caboodle. And
is this just for movies, or does this include like CDs too? Are they no longer selling CDs?
Well, actually, this is what I think is interesting, is that so Target is presumed to follow suit, because Target stores have stopped, or not all of them, but quite a few of them stopped carrying altogether. But it is interesting because I just went to a Target the other day, and it just opened a couple months ago, and they had some designated shelves for movies and everything like that. But now, even then, that's been reduced, where it's just one single shelf, and the rest of it has been relegated to vinyl records, which is kind of ironic when you consider that, you know, it's like it's a retro analog format that has surpassed in popularity than that of, like, say, movies, but the music scene. So there's a good chance that Best Buy will still continue with at least vinyl records. Hard to say about CDs.
You know, it's interesting. I think physical digital media is falling out of fashion because everyone's realizing, oh, this is just a file burned onto a disc, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing special about it. But when it comes to records, I think there's something nicer there because it's like a physical manifestation.
Well, records also arguably have better sound quality.
Yes,
Sure,
that's
sure,
what
but also like I have a record hanging on my wall right now. I've never listened to it, but it's just a nice little display of my fandom.
It
well,
has a classier ambiance to it as
Yeah, yeah,
well.
it's classier. It's art, but also you're right. It's not just a file on a CD. There's actual physical grooves in that piece of plastic
Right.
mhm.
that represent the music. So I
It's
guess what I'm going here is if digital is out, could we see a resurgence of VHS tapes at Target and Best Buy?
Well, there are like sort of like boutique distributors that will release like older movies on VHS. Like usually like horror movies and stuff like that. Like there's
Right.
a company I follow there. They released there's a controversial film that came out in 1987 called Necromantic. It's necrophilia the movie. So, and they do not hold back in that movie, and it spawned a sequel. I think it was filmed in West Germany, at least the first one was anyway. But they re-released those movies on VHS, and they were published like in the last 2 years. So
Necromantic? How do you spell that? I think I'm spelling it wrong. It's not on Letterboxd.
Nekro.
EK.
EK. Austin says new vinyl contains lead and releases it into the air when you play it.
Yeah, could we get a fact check on that?
So is that why my hair turns orange when I listen to it closely? Because that's what. No, that's mercury. Never mind. Okay, lead's fine.
All right, Necromantic has a 2.7 on Letterboxd. One of my friends reviewed it. Shout out to Mikey. It says killing and skinning a rabbit for a movie isn't cool. The rest of the movie sucked too. A rare Joe Bob fail. And let's see, Drake, you gave it 4 stars.
Oh yeah.
And I'll just pick out a random sentence here. The plot was simple as the sex sequences paused the plot like cheap porno. 4 stars.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I go on this long-winded thing how I think it presents this fetish as a problem, how like you cannot function as a person, just like how anybody struggling with any other kind of like
It's about necrophilia, I presume.
well, yeah, any kind of vice. I mean, it could be applied to any other vice, whether it's any kind of addiction or something like that. And I think it actually portrays a moderately honest, albeit depraved representation of an otherwise underrepresented fetish. So,
Necromantic 2 came out in 1991. It has a higher score of 3.0.
yes, that one is generally regarded as the better of the two because
That's interesting.
at least it has a slightly better production quality. So, but
I do like the trend of releasing new movies on VHS. Like I would love to buy Avatar 1 and 2 on VHS. Just VHS's display a lot nicer than DVDs, and also once again, it's a physical, it's analog, it's a tangible form of that media. Now the true media heads, they ditch VHS altogether and they go straight to film reels, right?
yeah, if you have
those
the
are
money
getting harder and harder to find.
Well, not only harder, but I mean, you got to have some dosh on you to be able to afford something like that.
Oh yeah. How much do you think that the Oppenheimer reels are going for?
Like the 70 millimeters?
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, golly, I mean, we're probably tens of thousands at least to have.
What a
like,
cool thing to have, though, huh?
Yeah, it would. I mean, if one, I could afford it, and two, have the means of being able to project it. I mean, eventually, I will have my own movie theater at my place. So.
I'm going down there in January still, by the way.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Brigham Young University has the "It's a Wonderful Life" on Reel, and they play it. They used to play it every Christmas, but I think they do like every other Christmas because like they've noticed that it actually does kind of like wear down like the quality over time, and so they want to be like careful with it. but it was the I think it was donated by Jimmy Stewart himself.
Wow.
So it was like his own copy of It's a Wonderful Life. Wow.
And he signed it.
Wow.
Austin's asking how fast do reels degrade?
30 miles an hour. Good question. Thank you, Austin.
All right, fact check that.
So, Drake, how do you feel about this change in the physical media sales? Does this bug you, or is this kind of a comforting thing to you because now that the release of physical media is slowing down and may eventually stop, who knows? That means that you could eventually get a complete collection of DVDs. You can get all the DVDs and Blu-rays to ever be manufactured. No longer is this a running on a treadmill kind of thing. Now there's a finite goal. How do you feel about that?
You know, as unexpected as this might sound, it's actually kind of a relief that there is going to be discontinuation. I mean, on one hand, yeah, I like to get the newest stuff. You know, like, for example, I went to Best Buy today and picked up their steelbook copy of, what is it, the Blue Beetle, because...
is that out?
Yes, it came out on Halloween Day, actually. But the reason why I went with the Best Buy copy, because usually I don't go for the steel books, but the reason why I went to get the Best Buy copy is because it's the only version available where it's the 4K Blu-ray with the Blu-ray and then the digital copy. Any other standard 4K Blu-ray is just the 4K Blu-ray disc. This is the only one that actually has the Blu-ray disc separate from the 4K Blu-ray. And so, like, for example, let's see, 2 weeks ago, they released Barbie. And despite its commercial success, they just had a standard 4K Blu-ray with just the 4K Blu-ray disc, and then there was just a Blu-ray release. I'm like, yeah, but
see, that's a damn shame. That's truly a shame. Because
you
would think when that comes out, they'd go all out, right?
And they didn't have Best Buy exclusive. It was just as your standard, plastic with a paper sleeve, and then same thing with the Blu-ray. They didn't have a Best Buy exclusive.
If this was 2006, it would be a larger box, and it would come with a little Barbie.
Yes, or even 5 years ago, some like little mini Funko Pop or something. So
yeah, a mini Funko Pop, or maybe the box would look like her car.
Yes, or
they'd really go all out. Now they just throw the MP4 on a disc and call it a day.
Mm-hmm. Which is strange since both Blue Beetle and Barbie, wow, both a lot of B words there, were both Warner Brothers. So you think they would have similar kind of like distributions, I mean, because the Blue Beetle 4K Blu-ray was announced about a month before Barbie was. Barbie wasn't announced until not even less than 2 weeks before it was actually put on the shelves. So I feel it was a real rush job. I was actually kind of.
I wonder if it has to do with the fan bases, right? Where Barbie fans, and I'm not saying women, I'm saying general audiences. They're more into streaming, right? They'll just throw on HBO, whatever it's called now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And well, comic book fans, they have that collector mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like with the comic book releases, they might lean a little harder into that than with a movie just meant for,
You'd think that everyone. Like Barbie fans would be collectors as well. I mean, it's a toy. Like collect them all. Like,
but I think fans of the Barbie movie are different than fans of Barbie,
mm-hmm.
the doll.
Right.
The reason why Barbie was so successful is not solely because of the name brand recognition, but because of the commentary that it has about gender politics and everything like that. That's why it's
very
kind
much
of
so,
that they're talking about making movies based on Micro Machines and Hot Wheels and Viewmaster and the Rubik's Cube and all these things. No. Making movies off of toys isn't going to be success unless if they have a social commentary.
Well, actually, I actually read an article today on CNN. It said that they were going to make the Rubik's Cube movie. He's gay.
Yes. Well,
the cube or the inventor.
The cube.
The cube itself.
Well, the cube.
That makes sense.
The cube animated series that was, that's possible. I mean, colors of the rainbow. Am I right? So no, but going back to the four kid, because I thought that this was just a rush job, because I think of back when Avatar, when that came out in 2009, it made $2.7 billion. It was a massive success. And then come Earth Day the next year, they whipped out this like crappy bare bones Blu-ray copy of it. And then November later that same year, that's when they came out with the 3D Blu-ray set. They had like tons of bonus feature, like 3 different versions of the movies and everything like that. And so I was like, is it the same thing with Barbie? Because there has
What was the holiday that they were releasing Barbie on? Was it like Flag Day? What was it?
Well, it's middle of October, so isn't October like Women's Month or something? No, that's March.
I think October. It's like Latin America Heritage or something.
Well, America Ferrera is in the movie, so
America Ferrera is in the movie. You've heard it here first.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's it. We do have a question from the audience here.
Oh, yes.
It says, does this podcast, so the three of us, think the deprecation of physical media is a ploy for capitalists to drain more money from consumers with less physical product? So it's sort of that artificial scarcity dilemma, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where because there's less of it, there's artificially less that they can charge more.
Well,
do you think that there's anything like that going on here?
Yeah, absolutely, I do, actually, because there has been a recurring thing that's been going on the last year or so, where there'll be a movie that's released on, theaters, it's moderately successful. It will have a Blu-ray release, and then shortly after, like a few months later, all of a sudden it has a 4K Blu-ray release. Like, for example, Megan, that was released in January, February this year, had a Blu-ray release in like April, and then it had a 4K Blu-ray release just last month. And there's no change in bonus features or anything like that. And let's see, what was the other movie that did that? Oh, I think Orphan First Kills.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So it's just an increase in quality. That's it.
It is, but it's just like, well, why didn't you whip it out on 4K Blu-ray initially? Like, does it really take that much more time to be able to do that? Because that's never really been an issue before. I mean,
it took 6 months to render. Because Megan was it was such a detailed doll. It was such a detailed CGI doll. It took a very long time to render.
Kind of like
every individual strand of hair, very inefficient.
Tangled.
A lot like Tangled. That movie was supposed to come out in 1997, and it took 9 years
to get that hair
to render.
But well, I think the last time I ever saw something like this was Disney was kind of late to the. I mean, Disney in general has always historically been late to the game when it comes to physical media. I think they were even like the last major company to have their content distributed on physical media.
And I believe we talked about this in an earlier episode, but that was intentional, right? It was because they thought that physical media would devalue their films.
Yes,
and so maybe they're onto something. I don't know. But
because they were just going to release their movies in theaters every 7 years. It was kind of so. But Disney was also one of the last ones to release movies on 4K Blu-ray. In fact, I always thought it was weird that the first new movie that Disney released on DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K Blu-ray was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
That's the last what?
That was the first movie that Disney ever released on 4K Blu-ray that was new day of release.
What's the first 4K Blu-ray?
Well, they released a bunch of older movies, like
no, I just want to know, like, for reference, like what's the first new 4K Blu-ray?
It was the Peanuts movie.
The Peanuts movie from I think 2015. 15, yeah.
It was Thanksgiving 2015, and then they started releasing 4K Blu-rays in March 2016. The day of the release that released the 4K Blu-rays then included movies like The Martian, Fantastic Four, Sicario, but these are older movies. And
I think Guardians of the Galaxy 2, that was like 2017, 2018?
Yes, 2017.
I remember the day I saw that movie, I went to Five Guys and I got a cheeseburger. And I said, that was so good. I'm going to get another. I got another one. I ate it. And then I said, you know what? When in Rome, I got a freaking third cheeseburger. And then I saw that movie. It was a great night. And let's see what I gave that movie on Letterboxd.
That's a glorious segue.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Which movie?
Guardians 2. Guardians 2. I saw that one by myself.
You saw Guardians by yourself?
Yep.
Guardians 2. I was kind of disappointed by Guardians 2. I think I hyped it up too much because I love the first one so much, and
I didn't really like the first one, so I was pleasantly. I gave it 4 stars. Drake gave it 2.5 stars, and Drake's brother gave it 2 stars. Let's see what Drake has to say about it. Apparently, I've seen this movie 5 times now, and only this time have I thought about the potential long-term repercussions of Peter's immortality. Is he immortal?
Well, he's an Eternal, or son of an Eternal, so.
Yeah, by killing his dad, he lost his power.
Well, yeah, because he was able to withstand the Power Stone in the first movie, right?
Yeah.
We have the audience wants us to comment. Just make a comment on the unrated version of Megan.
Oh,
have you guys seen it?
Yes.
Here's my comment. I haven't seen the movie, but I heard good things about it.
I would say the flow of the unrated version is better. I think a notable difference is it's got a few more F-bombs in it, but I feel it's not as truncated as it's only a few minutes longer, but is
it all they added was just the F words to make it unrated?
Well, and then the gratuitous sex scene between the doll and obnoxious boy. No, it was just, there's just a few little plot details that they added to it that I think overall added to the flow of the movie. Because I saw it in theaters with my nephew, and then I saw the Blu-ray. I bought the Blu-ray.
How old's your nephew?
3 weeks. Let's see, he is 13 years old.
3 weeks old?
3 weeks plus a few 13 years. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. That's a fun age to see a horror movie with your uncle.
Well, yeah, he insisted. So it was.
I'm excited to bring my nephew to some scary movies.
Well, actually, I took him to go see Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Hold on, hold that thought. Winnie the Pooh. I believe that was a what's it called? Not Fandango event.
Fathom events.
Fathom event. That was a Fathom event.
Mm-hmm.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Drake gave it 5 stars. Perfect score. It got half a star from Carlos Lee. So let's see what Carlos said. He said, Winnie and Piglet looked like 2 guys recruited from the local softball beer league and given masks purchased from the Dollar Tree. Avoid at all costs. Let's read a sentence from Drake's review. I saw this at a Fathom Events, bingo, showing, and early on when Mr. Winnie and has Chris boy. Drake, you wrote this one like it's a riddle.
Oh, yeah.
Saw this at a Fathom Events showing, and early on when Mr. Winnie has Chris boy dangling and smacks him around, the movie got so bad that the projector killed himself, and I got copped 2 free passes to see movies anytime. Last time this happened in my life was Kazam. What a legacy. 5 stars. So it sounds like you didn't actually like the movie. You just like that you got free stuff.
Well, up until the point, it was like 15 minutes into the movie. Yeah, the projector just killed itself, and then the people came.
Oh, the project! I think meant the projectionist.
Probably. Well,
wait. So did you like the movie, or do you just like the experience of like getting free stuff?
Well, the first 15 minutes I enjoyed. I liked the backstory. It had this cool animated thing, and then to see Christopher Robin chained up to a wall with Winnie the Pooh there about to confront him.
Wait, so you've only seen 50? So you've only seen like a few minutes of this?
You gave a movie you only saw 15 minutes of 5 stars. That's pretty bold.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's like how.
Well, I gave Dune a 5-star rating, and feel free to read that review, Colin, if you so please.
That's like how like Japanese people review restaurants. Like it's not just the food. It's like, oh, this food was amazing, but I'm removing a star because like my ex-girlfriend texted me and it put me in a bad mood. Like that's how. Like
ex-girlfriend.
Drake, I'm not seeing a review. Wait, hold on. I think I have to look somewhere else. I've been playing
it's a
Mahjong
cultural
lately.
it's a cultural
You ever
thing.
played Mahjong?
It's a cultural thing. Sorry, I'm responding to Austin. Anyway.
Dune, 3.5 stars. I've had such a sordid history with this film. I know there are multiple occasions where I've started the film and stopped, blah, 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 blah,
Oh, not
blah.
that. The 2021 Dune.
Okay. You gave the 2021 Dune 3.5 stars. It says here, the first 25 minutes were working for me, then it drifts off, but as soon as Paul starts mingling with the Freeman, we're up to the climax that I get into again.
That's not the 2021.
I know, I'm teasing you. All right, let me find the 2021. I haven't seen that. I'm hoping they re-release it in theaters when the second one.
Well, I think my singular sentence review might spoil the movie for you then.
Okay, five stars. This is a great movie. This is so stupid. This is so dumb. I'm pretty pissed off about this, actually. 5 stars. Watched October 21st, 2021. This is a great movie to fart during in the theater. The movie is very loud, and there aren't a lot of people in the audience. You can get away with it! Exclamation point. 5 stars.
And that's why it was a great movie.
I'm hoping they re-release it in theaters when the new one comes out.
You know, I've strangely seen a lot of online chatter about the enthusiasm for this sequel, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do two-part it, despite the fact that the sequel, I think they said it's gonna be over 3 hours long. So it's just like, that's a lot of movie watching right there, because that first one was 155 minutes long.
So is not to derail. If we want to keep talking about the physical media thing at Best Buy, we can. But is there another topic that you wanted to bring up, or is that everything on the agenda?
I actually wanted to add to the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is that, okay, even though that was the first new movie released by Disney, it was announced that in Australia, the entire country of Australia is no longer releasing new content on physical media, like, ever.
Really? Is it just because it's wasteful?
Yeah, there's just not a whole lot of sales to it, which is problematic for, okay. First of all, it's interesting that the last movie that Australia has ever released is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So there's an interesting little bookend right there for you. But I think what's my problem with that is that although I haven't indulged in too many Australian releases, I have a bunch of Australian movies from Australia, but Australia is notable for releasing a lot of stuff that never got physical releases in America, particularly American stuff. Like, for example, Regular Show. You could get every season of Regular Show only through Australian releases. They stopped after season 3 here in America. Or you could get like the entire series of Goosebumps on DVD from Australia. They never released a complete series in America.
The Australian Blu-ray of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is $60 right now.
It is a socialist country, so stuff is expensive there.
That's true. Yeah, they increased the cost of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 so they could buy insulin for orphans. That's true. Yeah, so stupid.
I mean, I usually end up spending about $20 just to have a DVD, or just to get a DVD and have it shipped here to the country that I live in.
The Australian version of No Way Home is only $15. I think it's more expensive just because it's the last one. I think it's historical.
I mean, there's been times where I look at copies of A History of Violence on VHS, and I've seen it go upwards of like $700 on eBay. So, for that very reason.
Kind of racist. What did Parker do that was racist? Leave it in the chat if you know what Parker did that was racist. I would love to hear it.
He that was when I was saying, like, I was comparing the way Drake
Japanese people review Denny's. Yeah.
Is that I think racist? It's just how, let's discuss. Or is
I don't think it has to do with I think it just has to do with weird people around the world.
Yes, let us 3 white men discuss what is racist and what isn't. because we certainly have our foot in the door about.
Yeah, come on. What is this? The Daily Wire? Let's change subjects.
Yes. No, but stepping back to the whole physical decline, like eventual removal from stores. I mentioned that it is actually a bit of a relief, and you kind of touched the subject about like being able to like own everything. But okay, like so, for example, on October 31st, they released Blue Beetle, but they also released Mission Impossible. Was it Dead Reckoning or something? Part 1. And even though I own all the other Mission Impossible movies, I just held off on getting this. And the reason why is because it's nice to know that in a few years I can just hold off and get a copy then. There's no immediacy to get it now, because usually I buy movies day of release simply because to get a copy is going to usually cost more, and it would be hard to get it in like a nice pristine release.
Wait, so why did you skip Mission? Why did you skip this one?
Because, well, two reasons. One, because I could, from the pattern, the way it looks, I'll be able to get it inexpensively down the road. I'm not like in a hurry to get this copy. And second of all, it is a part 1. So for all I know, when they do a part 2, they might do
like a dual release.
Yeah. So
of course.
Yeah. Even though in the past they've said that they'll do that with movies, they never did. Like they said they were going to do that with It in Chapter 2. They said there's going to be like a 390-minute cut of them combined or something. That never happened. Or they were going to do that with Deathly Hallows. That didn't happen. And then I think they even said they were going to do a Twilight or a Breaking Dawn, and
that would rock.
Yeah. I mean, because that Breaking Dawn Part 1 came in like this really nice box set that was like, you're invited to the wedding. I'm like,
500-minute cut of the Twilight Saga.
That would be pretty rad, yeah. And then, yet oddly enough, there are some saga sets out there. Like, they have the Kill Bill. You can get that 2-parter set. And then even the Human Centipede trilogy. They have a cut that is like one continuous movie with all 3 of those movies. Just like
the way it was meant to be seen. Yeah.
Yeah, because, you're connecting 3 things into one thing, right? Just like the first Human Centipede.
That's actually pretty cheeky. That's cute.
Cheeky, yeah. It's very tongue, if you
cheeky.
will.
So speaking of waiting for things to be on sale, Black Friday is right around the corner, and I know that all of us itchy DVD collectors are just, we're making our list, we're checking it twice. Are you guys hoping to get any great deals this Black Friday on, who knows, DVDs, Blu-rays, 4Ks, maybe even a VHS is going to wind up in someone's stocking?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Best Buy is just simply using this as a liquidation sale.
I think they often do that, where it's like Black Friday deal. It's like the worst video game you've ever heard of. Let's see. Have they announced their Black Friday sales yet?
I think I saw some stuff for like furniture stores and stuff. But
I'm gonna check Wario64. Usually he posts when the sales are up. Black Friday. Every wallet's worst nightmare. All right. Walmart Black Friday deals. Fake. No. Yeah, it looks like they haven't announced them yet.
Although you mentioned Walmart, I think this is interesting that Best Buy is going to remove, stop selling movies. Target's on a decline. Walmart, on the other hand, has actually gone up. Like they've
in physical media sales.
Yeah, like they've got exclusive releases of movies, that come with okay, so for example, in a couple weeks they're going to release Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem on 4K Blu-ray. You've got your standard 4K Blu-ray. Best Buy, again, it's Warner Brothers. They're going to release a Steelbook release, as Best Buy has done in the past. Walmart will have that same Steelbook copy, and it comes with a poster.
Nice.
So
the poster,
or like when it's come to the MCU movies, Target was always my favorite go-to, is because the Target releases of MCU movies, they would come with like a book or just a little like holographic cover or image of the cover or something like that. it would be in like this really thick set. And I think the last movie they released in that kind of set was Multiverse of Madness, the Doctor Strange movie. And since then, I guess Disney just discontinued their contract with Target, and so Target no longer has these beefy sets anymore.
Hold on, I'm gonna look up that set so I can describe it to the audience. Multiverse of Madness is controversially my favorite Marvel movie.
I could see that, yeah.
This is a nice set. It comes with exclusive original design.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Well, the
art.
cover,
it's the art edition.
Yeah, the cover art. So that was the thing that Target had, is that it had exclusive cover art, just like the Steelbook releases from Best Buy.
It looks like there's two different versions of the art. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
I like the one where it's he's like looking at like a shattered mirror.
Yes, that's the one I got.
That's a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. You know, Santa, if you're listening, I wouldn't mind. So the Marvel releases, I've always been curious about this. Are there like special features with these, or is it just the film? Yeah.
Oh yeah, tons of bonus features. Behind
like what kind of stuff do they include in there?
Usually just like making of interviews. I remember when Love and Thunder, they had a pretty extensive interview with Christian Bale. So.
Really?
And I think what's of note is that these bonus features, Disney Plus has some bonus features with their movies, but not all of them. So there are bonus features on the Blu-rays and the 4K Blu-rays that Disney Plus does not have. And then one notable one is audio commentaries. A lot of these movies have audio.
It's crazy that that's still not on any of these services. I think it might be on HBO.
Mm-hmm.
But it's crazy that's not a more widespread thing.
I picked up Elemental about a month and a half ago, and that has the audio commentary. That's not on Disney Plus. So, so after Target discontinued the Multiverse of Madness, I had to switch over to Walmart, because then Walmart started releasing versions where it had exclusive art, but it also comes with an enamel pin. I don't really care for the enamel pin, but at least it's something that isn't the standard 4K Blu-ray release, because
it's that, and I mentioned it earlier. It's that physical manifestation of something that you love, mm-hmm. that's intangible, right?
And it looks nice on the shelf too, so
it looks nice on the freaking shelf.
Well, and so that's why I'm just curious about the MCU, because they released. Let's see, what day was that? Was it late September? That's when, it was September 26th, I think. That's when they released.
Dr. Weird? I think Dr. Weird was last year.
Oh, no. I'm talking about September 26th this year. That's when they released season 1 of Loki and season 1 of 2 of The Mandalorian on 4K Blu-ray.
Oh, that's interesting that they did that.
Yeah, and then WandaVision is getting a release either this month or early next month.
Interesting. That's really late in the game.
Yeah. So, I think they're just kind of testing the waters to see if there's any kind of demand for this sort of thing so, the fact that it's a Disney Plus original, and then even, let's see, was it Hulu that released, there was the 5th Predator movie. It was called Prey.
Yeah. I remember that. That was a big hit when it came out. Everyone was like, "Hey, that was actually pretty good."
That was a Hulu exclusive, which is also owned by Disney. But they released it on a 4K Blu-ray about a month ago, and it was chock full of bonus features.
That's great.
So they are testing the waters a little bit to see if there is some demand for physical release. But although there's not, I suppose I can go in online forums to get people's reviews on physical releases, on YouTube video, unboxing videos and stuff like that. But one way in which I can tell that these MCU movie, or the Loki season 1, or at least WandaVision, is not selling well is because you can still buy them online. And what I mean by that is take for example, when Black Widow, when that was released on 4K Blu-ray, the Target version, the Target release, pre-order sold out a week before, and then all online stores were sold out within 2 hours the day of release.
Of what?
Of Black Widow when that was released.
No, what? No, that sounds.
Well, you gotta remember.
No, there's something strange going on here.
Well, that was the first MCU movie after COVID. You know, that was the first one. It was like the hit in the theaters, and there was just like
no one liked that film. No one liked that feature film.
Well, it's just like people crave the continuation of, you know, this is before like Shang-Chi and all that, you know, so where they started declining, but it's just like
I thought Shang-Chi was a wonderful film.
I did too, you know, but that's because I think Awkwafina's hot, but that's just me.
Interesting. Yeah. You gave Black Widow 3 stars, no review. Mm-hmm. Shang-Chi, let's pull up Shang-Chi.
I think I gave Shang-Chi a 4.
Let's fact check that. 4 stars. I'm not an especial fan of the MCU, says Drake, who just spent the last 20 minutes about how he buys all MCU stuff, and then he's worried about not being able to buy anymore. And let's see, what else? Do you say anything about Awkwafina in your review? Let's see. You do. This movie also had Awkwafina in it, period.
That's a love letter right there.
Since the 3rd Jumanji movie, is she in that?
She plays Danny Vito's character.
Oh, that's funny. Since the 3rd Jumanji movie, I've been paying more attention to her because of her brash sense of comedy. That works for me. She was the highlight in Raya and the Last Dragon. That movie sucks. Mm-hmm. I admittedly haven't seen any of her dramatic work yet. So to see her not only be the love interest with the dimension of that she can fend for herself by honing her archery. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. She does provide a wholesome support during the downtimes for the character. Not really a love interest in that film, though, more like a friend interest.
Well, and then actually, since then, I have seen some of her dramatic work. And she did a film called what was it called? Not The Favorite. It was called The Something. It dealt with a
Chinese... The Farewell?
The Farewell, yes. Yes, so that was a phenomenal film. In fact, I think I even listed that as my favorite first-time watch for the month of January or February this year.
4.1 on Letterboxd. Drake, you gave it a 4.5.
Yep.
High praise.
And then she also was, and she did this show. What was it, like Nora Lum is from Queens. That was on HBO Max, and it's just sort of like a quasi autobiographical representation of her life living in Queens, and it's funny. I like it. It's good stuff. Like, in fact, even the guy who played Shang-Chi, Simu Liu, he was in an episode of that Nora Lum show, and it was the funniest thing because he's like doing like a sexy shower thing or something, but it's spoken as a flashback. But he's covering himself in like dirt, and Awkwafina's like, "Oh my gosh, that's so disgusting, Grandma. Stop describing him that way." It was pretty good. So, but yes, I am a big Awkwafina fan. So I will. In fact, I will go see any movie that she's in. She's actually one of the real highlights of the Little Mermaid movie. You know, everyone wants to criticize the Scuttlebutt song, and like, I like the Scuttlebutt song, but that's...
You like the Scuttlebutt song?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I thought it was a little bit too Lin-Manuel Miranda for me. It was a little too talk rap, if that makes any sense. Great movie though. I really liked that movie.
I actually...
You gave it a 3.5 stars.
Yes.
Let's dive a little deeper. 3.5 stars. Last year I watched the Little Mermaid trilogy and a handful of episodes on tape. And one amusing realization I had was, in order for Ariel to birth Melody in the sequel, because Ariel did give birth, she had a daughter. When Triton gave Ariel legs at the end of the first movie, he gave her a fully functioning reproductive system. How did he know about that and know how to conjure that? Probably from books and magazines. Also, what a weird thing to have to consider when casting magic on his daughter. Factoring that in at the end of this movie made the ending a tad more tolerable. Wait, I'm a little confused about that last sentence.
Well, okay,
so just kind of thinking about the thinking about Never mind. Let's see. So you saw it in 3D?
Yes.
I thought that was a lot of fun. But I saw that movie the day I had to give my cat away. I had to give my cat away, and I was so heartbroken. I was sobbing the whole day, and I said, I just need to get out of this house. And I wanted to go and see Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
Uh-huh.
And I bought a ticket for that because I heard it's really good. And I bought a ticket for it, and I went to the theater, and they said, you bought a ticket to the wrong freaking theater, sir. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm having the worst day of my life. And they said, well, the only movie we're showing right now is The Little Mermaid. And I said, I guess I'll see the freaking Little Mermaid. And guess what? I saw it, and I had a great time. I fell in love. I laughed. I cried. I did the scuttlebutt. I had a great time. I gave it 4 stars.
My only real major criticism about that is the fact that Ariel, since she can't speak on land, and then they added the detail where she doesn't remember why she's on there. It's like she does nothing. She just stands around just smiling with her, it's just like, where's your arc?
It is a little passive. Yeah, it is.
Granted, it allows, Eric to be more dimensionalized and everything like that, which is fine, but it's just like, you're not doing anything. I mean, you're fine underwater, you sing great, you got a good sense of dynamic with the other characters, but once you're on land, you're nothing, so it's just...
Is that in your review? I haven't read your review, but was that...
Yeah, I think, that was my primary criticism.
You maybe should have included that in the first in the first paragraph.
Well, I led up to that. I generally structure my reviews where it's usually like one paragraph, like my sort of like backstory of this movie, then like 2 paragraphs, like kind of summarizing.
Right. It's almost like a prologue.
And then the rest of it is just like my more prolonged breakdown of the movie and my like discussing the highlights of the ups and downs. And that's generally how I structure mine. And then I usually give a link to my OnlyFans at the bottom.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw that. Mm-hmm. Hey, Parker, I had a quick question. What's your favorite movie of this past year?
This past year.
Yeah, 2023, rather. Year of the Cockroach. What's your favorite film of this year?
I mean, I'm trying to think of one that like I really enjoyed, and I can't think of one that like the last movie I really enjoyed. It was from last year when I saw Bullet Train with you, Colin.
Oh yeah, that was a fun movie. I don't think we did see that together.
No, we saw that together.
I think No, we didn't. I saw that alone, actually.
No. I saw that with you.
I saw it alone, and then I said that you would like it.
I was like hanging out with you, and you were like, "Hey, let's go see Bullet Train just for fun." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, okay." And I kind of didn't really want to go because the trailers were like, I really didn't like the trailers. I'm like, "Oh, this is a silly, stupid movie." But okay, whatever. We'll see Bullet Train. It'll be action packed, whatever. But I actually really, really enjoyed it. I was very pleasantly surprised at like all aspects.
I really enjoyed it too, and I saw it alone actually.
You saw it with me.
I actually saw it by myself. Believe it or not, I have it right here. I saw it August 20th, and I could probably actually go to my calendar and see what time I saw it. And it's probably not a time that you would have seen it with me.
I was in Salt Lake at the time, and we were hanging out. I was just like, "Hey, can I come over?" And then we're like, "Hey, let's watch."
That doesn't sound right. August 20th. That's it.
Did you see
that
it
was a
twice?
Sunday?
No, I'm pretty
that
sure.
Was a Sunday?
I'm pretty sure we both saw it at the same time because you're like, "Hey, let's just go see this. Let's go see."
No, because actually, I remember on the way home, I was talking to you, and I said on the phone, "I just saw Bullet Train, and you weren't here." And then you said, "Oh, I was thinking about seeing that." And I said, "Yeah, you should check it out sometime." It says here I saw August 20th, which was a Sunday. It doesn't have the time. Maybe I could go to my app, but my phone's charging. But it would probably be at a time where you're asleep, or maybe you're at therapy or something. It's definitely a time where you wouldn't have been available.
When I saw that in theaters, I thought one amusing little aspect was there was like an older couple that was like a few rows in front of me, and they left halfway through. And I made the presumption. I think the reason why they left is because this was after a like a diatribe from one character that was laden with swear words, and I think they just up and left and like I don't want to deal with this nonsense, so they just left. I'm like, okay, more seats for me, I guess.
And then what'd you do with those extra seats that you got?
Hey,
I
Colin,
empty.
This is my journal entry from Friday, August 19th, 2022.
Wait. What day?
Friday, August 19th. Went to a burger place with Colin and Samantha. Then Colin and I watched Bullet Train, which was really good. Fun times. End of journal entry. So I did
that sounds
see it with
made
you.
up because actually you didn't write what burger place it is that we went to. And I feel like if you actually went to a burger place with me, you would have written down the name. And I actually saw that movie. Sorry, I actually saw that August 20th. I saw it on the 20th.
No, it's the 19th. Maybe you saw it again on the 20th with Alone or something.
Oh, yeah. You think I saw it on the 20th? I liked it so much that I saw it the next day.
I don't know. Well, I do know that I on the 19th, I saw it with you after getting a burger.
Well, I would love to see a picture of this journal entry, and I would also love to have it, if you can even manage to get a photo of this supposed journal entry. I would love to have it analyzed.
We'll post it on the.
I would love to see it carbon dated.
Facebook page.
What?
We'll post it on the Collector's Edition Facebook page. Links down.
Yeah, it'll be on the Facebook page. And if you have a divorced uncle who's really into seeing how old dried ink is, or is really good at like judging how old a piece of paper is.
This was on my phone. I typed it on my
phone.
phone.
It's on your phone. Oh.
Yeah.
How convenient.
Yeah, I saw Bullet Train August 4th and I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. And I think I mentioned something about Joey King because she was one of the main reasons I went to go see it.
Do you like Joey King?
When the Beezus and Ramona movie came out, I was really Ramona books, and that's like the first thing I ever saw her in that. And then all of a sudden, she's just popping up in everything. It's like she was in The Conjuring, she was in the second Independence Day movie. I'm like, wow, she's like in everything. So like, you know, it's like, oh, and she's in Bullet Train because she also did a movie released on Hulu. Was it HBO Max? It was called The Princess or whatever, where she plays like a soldier who has to like descend a tower and like fight people on the way down or something. Like she escapes a jail cell.
Yeah, The Princess. Look at that. 2.5 on Letterboxd. You gave it 3.5 stars. This movie's a bit flat. You know, Joey King is a person who I usually hate, but I really liked her in Bullet Train. I don't really know why, but I usually hate her, but I loved her in Bullet Train. She was in, what's this Creep Show? A Creep Show animated special. Oh yeah, this looks like it sucks actually.
She was also in that Slender Man movie.
Oh really?
Yeah.
She was in a movie about Warren Jeffs.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I never saw it.
Not many people did. Only 245 watches on Letterboxd. That's pretty rough. I've seen the Kissing Booth movie. Well, I saw the third one. I haven't seen the first two, but I gave the third one 5 stars. I gave it 4.5 stars.
I had Netflix for a month, a few months ago, and so I decided to marathon watch all 3 Kissing Booth movies. Just because I'm like, why not? You know, because like it's got Joey King, and also
it's got Joey King.
There's a podcast I listen to where they cover movie series, where the entire episode is just discussing an entire film series. And these guys, they actually covered every Barbie movie. They had 3 6.5-hour episodes discussing.
You did that same thing.
Yeah, discussing all 42 Barbie movies, and that was. The fact that they did it, that was partly my incentive, which is why I watched every Barbie movie and acquired a copy. So they also did the Kissing Booth trilogy. I'm like, well, if you did it, I'll do it. You know, I kind of respect these guys because these guys who do this podcast, they are moderators for Letterboxd. Like, they work for Letterboxd.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So because it's based out of New Zealand and they're Kiwis themselves, so they got that.
Letterboxd is New Zealish?
Mhm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So.
So they're the guys who keep deleting my reviews where I tell actors to kill themselves.
Yeah, and they'll probably send you. They're probably letting Taika Waititi know, and he's probably gonna Jojo Rabbit you.
He's gonna dress up like Hitler and do jokes.
All right, we've been recording for about an hour and 12 minutes. How do we feel about wrapping things up here? Just
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Should we close out or anything?
Well, so,
Are there any segments that we want to end the show with?
Oh, I guess I just want to kind of going back, get your guys' idea of like where do you think it's going to go with physical media? Like Colin, you mentioned like maybe there's going to be a retro appeal of VHS. I mean, I know
I think physical media is transforming right now, sort of like physical music did, where it's no longer a utility, right? It's not something that you get because you want to watch the movie. It's something that you get to show that you're a fan. So it's transforming from utility to novelty. And I know novelty has a bit of a negative connotation to it, but I mean that in the best of way.
Well, here's one thing to consider: the price for streaming services has been drastically increasing, and people are omitting or discontinuing the streaming services because of the costs.
Yeah, but I don't think I think they're cutting the. I think they're getting rid of their streaming service, and they are instead just either watching YouTube or they're just finding illegal ways to watch it. I don't think they're going back to physical media.
Some are, but yeah, that's certainly not going to be the mainstream approach, simply because of just the cost.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I think we're so used to the convenience, right? Like I have everything on Plex, and even though like I own Alien, I own like Blade Runner, but if I wanted to watch those movies, I wouldn't pop out the Blu-ray. I would probably download it and watch it off Plex. Well, the reason why I own those movies is because, well, I'm such a fan of those movies, and I want them on my shelf, and I want the commentary if I ever wanted to go to the commentary. It's a physical manifestation of my love, and in capitalism, that is one of the prime ways that we show our love. It's the opposite of a boycott, essentially. Well, you love something so much, you just want to give it your money, even though you don't necessarily need it or even want it.
Well, I mean, and those are also both Ridley Scott movies, but and there are different versions of both of those movies. So I'd be curious to know which ones are you watching.
The final cut for Blade Runner.
Okay.
For Alien, I don't know.
There's only two versions of Alien: the standard theatrical, and then there's like the extended cut released on the Blu-ray. So
I don't know. I already packed it up, so I don't know. I'm moving in January, so that's why I have it packed up.
Right. So I'd be curious in a few months from like if we do a follow-up episode where Target has discontinued, and just given the trend of streaming services, I am curious to see where things are going to go.
Well, what do you think, Parker? What do you think?
I think I could definitely see, at least in America, VHS kind of making a comeback as far as like,
right, yeah, because there's a novelty to it.
A pseudo nostalgia thing, just like children are going to look through our stuff and be like, "What's this, Grandpa?" It's like, "Oh, that's VHS." And like, "Oh, what is VHS?"
That's VHS.
What a DCD.
It's a BCD.
Exactly. Which is much more exciting. Something that moves around and spins and is like, oh, you would watch video on tape on reel or whatever, like a miniature reel, which is much more exciting than like a CD, which is just like it's
inherently more attractive. Like I have a 4-year-old right now, right, and he has access to CDs and to cassettes, and he loves that just like it's you know he loves tapes just because it's fun. It's something that you can hold, and it's something that a CD. They all look the same, and there's no moving parts. It's just it's a disc. I've seen a million discs. But with a cassette tape, they're unique, and there's that physical tape, and you can pull it out, and then your dad gets mad at you.
Right. It has feedback to it. You have to like push a button that like is like an inch or half inch instead of just like a touch screen or whatever. I think that's why like the original Star Wars movies, like the Millennium Falcon, was so cool because it had like switches and knobs and things.
Yeah. It feels like a real device.
Whereas like futuristic thing, like even Marvel movies with like Iron Man, it's like everything's holograms. It's like, who cares about holograms? You can't touch a hologram.
You can't touch a freaking hologram.
But a hologram can touch you.
Anyway.
That's in Blade Runner 2049. That's a big part of that movie, is that you can't touch a hologram.
But I mean...
Wait, hold on really quick. Blade Runner 2049. Let's see. Oh, is it 2047?
No, it's 49.
Maybe, Blade Runner's 2 words. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah,
Blade Runner 2049. Let's see.
Yeah,
Randy Gomez gave it 1.5 stars. That'll be interesting to read. Drake, I'm not seeing a review from you on this.
Have we talked about how like CDs?
Drake gave it 3.5 stars.
Yeah, well, I was initially going to bring up the 3D thing, but it's just like I felt, because I went to like a Best Buy and a Target today, and just like I think this could be an interesting topic of discussion now. The 3D thing, since that is more of an antiquity, that could be something that could be brought up anytime. In fact, I'm actually in the process of getting myself a 3D TV, even though I can't see 3D.
One of the Sony ones?
No, I'm gonna get a Samsung.
Is that a new thing or just the old ones?
Oh, just the old ones. So, because hopefully my brother isn't listening to this, but with his Christmas Carol one, I think he's gonna finish it off with what still remains his favorite Christmas Carol adaptation, the Robert Zemeckis directed one, the computer animated one with Jim Carrey.
Oh yeah.
It's my personal favorite. It's his personal favorite, and that was the first movie released in stores on 3D Blu-ray. And I want to like present to him like, hey, let's watch it in 3D at home, because I already have the player, I have the cable, I have the glasses. I just don't have the TV yet. So
yeah, there's some PlayStation 3 games that were released to work with the 3D TV.
I go PS3. So, and then I will end on this parting word by saying,
wait, really quick, Drake, if you get that 3D TV before January, I would love to give that bad boy a whirl and maybe watch some Avatar on that.
That's true. No, actually, I don't have Avatar. Oh no, I have Avatar: The Way of Water on 3D Blu-ray, but not.
Drake, do you have like a Venmo or a Patreon that like our listeners can donate to for the 3D TV fund?
Yeah, it's at Crabhaver, at Crabshaver.
Yes, it's whatever ones you guys have, and I'll just move off with you.
Yeah, my Venmo is at Crabshaver 2, at Crabshaver 2.
Someone with that name is gonna get like $5 randomly.
Nice.
What 3D TV is $5? Have we talked about how in Japan like CDs are still a thing? Like,
oh yeah,
video CDs or just CDs?
No, just like music CDs. How like CD stores are still like multi-level like.
CD stores? You mean the kind of stores that sell bongs?
Yeah. No. Like compact discs.
Oh.
In the newest season of JoJo's That's Someone's Stand, is he can remove people's stands and their memories via compact discs.
That's very cool.
So he can take out a compact disc of one person's stand and put it into another person.
That might be because didn't Japan invent the CD?
Did they? I don't know. We can fact check that.
I think they did. I think there was a big format war with the CD, and I think Sony had a hand in creating it. Drake, is that correct?
Admittedly, music technology is not my forte. So,
well, what about video CDs, pal?
Well, video CDs, yeah, those were popularized. Those are still popular even today in many Eastern Asian countries like the Philippines and Vietnam and Japan. So, and actually, some of those are pretty valuable because there are releases on movies on video CD that are the only copies available in like the original theatrical aspect ratio.
That's interesting.
James Russell is apparently the inventor of the compact disc. Most often,
it's a Japanese guy.
The CD evolved from multiple optical mediums and was eventually finalized in 1980 when Sony and Philips created the famed Red Book standard, which was a series of documents.
Philips.
Sony
yeah,
and Philips.
They call him Russell-san in Japan. That's what he goes by.
Makes sense.
I whenever I think of old audio technology, I think of an episode of the Jetsons, from the early to mid 60s. And at one point, Judy Jetson is complaining that she has to study her space calculus exam by listening to a bunch of instructional tapes. Like she has a whole stack of audio cassettes, and it's like, this is in the year 2062, and you have a stack of audio cassettes of lessons to take space calculus. I'm like, man, they really nailed the future in the head.
I think that settles it. I think now we know for sure that in 39 years, streaming is going to crash. The internet, I presume, is going to crash, and we're all going to have to go back to these freaking CDs to learn calculus.
Space calculus.
And then I think that's a collector's edition scoop. And with that, I would like to wrap up today's episode. Thank you so much, Parker and Drake, for coming on this wonderful episode. Who knows? Maybe this is the last episode. Maybe we'll do 1,000 more episodes. Who knows? That's the great thing about living in the present and not the future.
And I want to give a special shout out to our audience. We wouldn't be here without your wonderful support. Thank you, Austin, even though we've never met.
Oh, wait, we do have a question from the audience. How will we watch movies when the sun explodes? It's a very good question. And the answer is all the energy from the sun when it explodes will be in the air, and which means that it will go into every DVD player and VHS player. And for 3 seconds, actually, every VHS and DVD player will sing their final song and play whatever media is inside, and then it will explode. And it will kill whoever is nearby it. It will be a sweet death for all of
my VCR is it's hermetically sealed, so it'll be fine. Any tape is in there, it'll be fine, and I'll be the last.
I have one closing remark.
Yes.
I am offended and hurt that Colin does not remember seeing Bullet Train with me over a year ago. Because we did in fact see it together.
I think that's pretty funny. I think that's pretty funny that you would create this fantasy.
No, look, listen. In all seriousness, when I talk movies with people, I tell them one of my favorite movies is Bullet Train, and I say how I went with my friend Colin, and how at first I was like, I don't really want to go to this, but okay, what the heck?
I think really you're hurt because you realize that you've been lying to everyone.
I wrote it in my journal, dude.
Yeah, your journal. Yeah, the notes app. You wrote it in the notes app.
In the notes app.
Well, if I may,
30 minutes ago.
Do you have any evidence that we didn't see it together? Because the burden of proof rests upon you. Because
I do actually.
Maybe you paid for my ticket too.
Oh, I might. You still have my phone's charging. Otherwise, I would check.
You can check your bank records and see how much money you spent.
No, my bank records are
on August
encrypted.
19th.
I pay for everything in Bitcoin.
You did not pay in Bitcoin. Check your
I
bank
paid
records.
In Bitcoin to see Bullet Train.
Maybe I should check my bank records.
I think it's interesting that Colin, going back to Thomas the Tank Engine, Colin, you're the Percy here, and then Parker, you're the Henry, but then you become Gordon because Collins being too much of a Percy.
I think Parker's being a bit of a diesel.
No, Collins being a diesel right now. Collins being a real diesel.
You're being a bit of a diesel here with your big long nose.
Being a real diesel.
And I'm being Thomas, the tank engine.
And then I'm Toby because I'm just square. So, good times.
Do you guys think the green train and the blue train are in love? I think they might be.
Which one, Percy or Henry? Because they were both green.
Percy. I believe Percy is in love with Thomas.
Well, Percy's a child, so.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I forgot that children can't be trains.
Yes. Or trains can't be children.
Well, that's a great episode of Collector's Edition. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you at the theaters.
And
or
next time,
in the...
Colin will apologize to me after he sends his bank records.
Thank you for another dashing episode of Collector's Edition, and we'll see you at the local Walmart in the DVD aisle.
In the sky.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, that's a wrap.
That's all right. That's my podcast. God bless.
Good app. We should, I forgot how fun these are.
It's been over a year since our last, not just last recording, just our last publication, or when it was. Let me see, the last.
Oh yeah, because we drip fed those a little bit, huh?
April 30th, 2022, is when you released episode 3, which was really episode 4, because we had a filler episode.
Really, they were out of order.
No, and despite the fact it's been a year and a half, I'm still recording from the same phone in my car. So
it's an upgrade. You're in your car right now? Isn't it chilly?
Yeah. No, it got up to 82 degrees today. So
82? Is it going to be hot in January? What's going to be like in January? I'm nervous.
I mean, it's going to drop down to like 41 degrees today, and then it's going to get up to like 52 tomorrow, or I guess.
Remember that episode? No, was it the last episode where your pipes burst?
Yeah, that was the last episode.
Yeah, that was great.
That's really funny.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was fun. That was great. I still haven't even sealed that wall. There's still exposed pipe right there. So
that was very funny.
Oh yeah, good times, good times. The blooper reel. We'll do that at the end of the season, the podcast season.
Yeah, 9 years.
Because
I'm gonna send you this link here.
Yeah, in the blooper reels, we can also throw in that what you perceived as a racist invitation that I made about short round that you omitted from the final cut of the episode.
Will you do that again? What did that sound like?
It's like, not that for Dr. Jones.
Yeah, I don't know why I would have cut that. That wasn't racist at all.
Well, I was imitating what he sounds. That's just what he sounds like. I'm not imitating people of his ethnicity. I'm just imitating him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm surprised. I was so sensitive back then. And
yeah. Well, you kept that. You omitted that, but you kept in the crack I made about men beating their wives in the 50s.
That's weird.
That was a good bit, though.
But yeah, this is good, and so I would actually be curious, like, maybe in a few months or something, like when Target when Best Buy is like wrapping up, or like even maybe post the Black Friday, you see what the liquidation that they do and everything like that. And I would also like to. I do have a few things I wanted to say about 3D that we could talk about some other episode.
Absolutely. Yeah, my only concern is just editing. These things are kind of annoying to edit.
Yes.
I've become the reason why I stopped, because I just don't have the time to edit.
Right.
Like I've had a video that I've had to edit, I think, for 2 or 3 months, and I just haven't. It's just taxing.
Well, I think the problem is that, okay, I do have notes in front of me right now, so that is one change. I have my laptop right here in the passenger seat. So I do have plot points I wanted to pick up on. But, whenever I listen to podcasts, I mean, it's usually like the guys, they each have their own recording thing. They have a screen in front of them, and they know exactly what they're going to cover. So there is a consistency with it. With us, we've been kind of improvising, just like kind of going on all sorts of direction. That is a bit tricky.
I think the first few, I think the other episodes we had a schedule.
Well, they were, but sometimes we get a little sidetracked and everything like that.
Nothing wrong with a little tangent, in my opinion.
And so I think like in order to like have a more cohesive sound, especially since I'm not like building up toward like the modern technologies we did in the earlier episode, we need to, the three of us need to plan out like more or less like there's like an agenda, like okay, we're going to cover this point, we're going to cover this point, we're going to cover this point, maybe give our little comment, this and that. So like before we actually record the episode, we're going to have a pretty good idea of what we're each going to discuss, so there's not going to be a whole lot of like, hey, here's a little something fun about me. I'm like, oh, interesting. There's not going to be as much of that, because when you introduce new information to the other people, that's what leads to sidetracking. So,
yeah. So I do like the idea of the podcast just being about physical media, and I think we all have things to say about that, and just movies in general. When I feel like The Simpsons, I thought it was a fun angle. I thought it was funny, but I just don't know if it was if it was the spark that our fire necessarily needed.
Yeah,
that's not me, because that was my idea.
Well, I mean, I mentioned, before, it's like, we initially conceived the idea that each episode would cover one season of The Simpsons, and then I proposed, like, let's just do an entire episode covering the entirety, because I think there's really not much variation between each of the DVD box sets. But if you go through the pattern, because like you proposed the idea of like the controversial 6-season set, I'm like, see, that would be interesting to focus on when you're comparing it to the others in discussing the others as well. So I think there's enough content in covering the 20 seasons that have been released on physical media that can warrant an entire episode. So,
well, stick that in your pocket. See if it comes up in the future. Who knows?
So, okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Next time we do one of these, we'll have a little pre-game meeting, maybe.
Yeah. So we'll just like it's like maybe, I don't know, one of us, or maybe we can just like kind of throw in a few ideas, and then like maybe like on a Google Docs or something, and we can kind of like edit it or something, and just kind of like decide like, okay, well, we'll hit this point, and this, and then we'll just kind of stick with that. And yeah, we can have some little side room for our little personal experiences or whatever, but we're gonna stay on topic, not just like sidetrack to some other thing, So
I don't know. I'm pro sidetrack. Like I thought one of the strongest parts of this episode was us talking about whether or not we saw a movie together.
Yeah,
I think that we'll definitely have to re-examine that next episode once.
Sure, yeah, I think that's
Colin
a fine
checks
thing.
His bank records, because I know he bought a ticket for me.
Yeah, I think you checking your bank records and not finding anything, I think that's pretty much the same as if you didn't find anything at all. So yeah, go ahead and do that.
Ask Samantha if.
Yeah, I'd love to.
What burger place we went to that day on the 19th?
On 19th, yeah. See that? I don't know anything about roads.
We went to a burger place. If I didn't say the name of the place, it might have been Millie's.
Oh yeah, I know Millie's.
Yeah.
Well, I go to Millie's like once a week, so.